Welcome to Business Talk, presented in collaboration with the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, from the heart of southeastern Ohio at the University of Rio Grande TV studio. Our goals are simple: promote the University of Rio Grande and the Ohio State University South Centers, as well as advocate local small business and their support organizations. More importantly, promote southeastern Ohio as a wonderful place to live, explore, and learn. There are many different ways you can find us. The University of Rio Grande Cable Access Channel 17, live online at blogtalkradio.com, and on YouTube if you are unable to catch our show live. Introducing our co-hosts, Jason Winters, Mike Thompson, Patrick Dengel. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back to our show. This is the start of our being on TV for our fifth, going on sixth year, and it's just amazing, Jason, the number of different guests that we've had on the show, and we have a individual that you're going to do the introduction, but I just wanted to suggest to the audience at the end of the show, we're going to go through some very unique things that we have coming up.
We do. We have some very special guests that are going to be coming onto the show here within the next few months, and we'll talk about them a little bit.
Yeah.
Right now, I'd like to take some time to introduce a very special guest, someone who I enjoy talking with quite often. I've actually toured his facility here on campus. Personally, for me, this is one of Rio Grande's best kept secrets. We have a fine woodworking program here on campus, and I believe we've had for probably 12, 14 years.
The program itself has been here since '86.
Since '86?
Yes.
See, I was way off.
Yeah.
So it's even a better kept secret than what I had anticipated. Today we have with us Eric Matson. Eric is a faculty member here at the university and a very skilled artisan.
Thank you.
And today we're going to talk about the fine woodworking program that we have here on the campus of the University of Rio Grande. So Eric, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We're glad to have you. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I actually went through the program here at Rio, and actually I went through a program down in North Carolina also in woodworking itself. Started off in woodworking and just very passionate about it and love every minute of it. So
we're going to see some of the work that you've actually produced, not only in the shop but also out in the fields. You've taken some students to some locations and built some work. But let's go back, and for those who are not familiar with our woodworking program at all, tell us a little bit about what the program is. I'm sure it's not carpentry work.
Right, it's really fine. We're building fine furniture, and we're using solid wood and doing joinery techniques that are the hallmark of fine furniture. And you know, as far as what the program encompasses, it's just the almost museum quality type of furniture, the highest end of you know, as far as the possibilities are endless as far as a student coming in and whatever they want to learn. So it's a very unique program, and there's not very many of them. So it's
you know, one of the things that we have sort of unique in Southern Ohio is a lot of different kinds of wood. Mm-hmm. And I have seen where you've spoken about cherry wood furniture and different items.
Yeah, Ohio has the third most diverse as far as hardwoods. We're in kind of the capital of you know, the sawing and the lumber industry, so it is appropriate for us to be based out of here.
So most of the pieces of furniture, are they made out of oak or cherry or?
Primarily walnut, cherry, maple, mahogany, curly maple, and we're after unique pieces of wood also. The Y of the tree that has a lot more figure. So if we have a board that's unique, we can resaw it and veneer it and have matched panels and that.
So we're talking more about just the structure of putting a piece of furniture together, but we're actually talking about the art.
Right. There's definitely an art, and it's completely hands-on instruction. So I mean, there's carving, there's turning, and of course there's lumber selection that can make or break a piece.
So tell me a little bit about the typical student that comes into the program. What is your typical student?
Typical student is a hands-on learner that just loves to create things, and that's
He has to be a little coordinated, doesn't he?
right. I mean, there's of course hand-eye skills, fine motor skills, and really, if you're passionate about woodworking and creating things, you'll be very successful.
You know, Pat, I'm sure a lot of our listeners are thinking, this is business talk. Why are we
Right.
talking about an art program on Business Talk?
You know, and you do bring up a good point. When you create furniture, I guess, your next logical step is to put it into storage or
Sell it.
sell it.
And part of the curriculum for this program is some courses in business.
Yeah.
Right out of the Evans School of Business, we have small business management, which Pat teaches, and on occasion I teach as well. And what we actually do is we teach students how to create their own business plan, to go through the marketing process. How do I create a product? How do I market it? How do I sell it? Where's my customer at? And those are the things that are really important for someone who's creating a very unique piece of artwork. How are they going to sell that artwork, and how are they going to make their passion into a livelihood?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's even professionals struggle with that, and that's most woodworkers or artists are not business-minded people to begin with. So to have those classes can really help things out as far as putting a business plan and together, and so that you have some type of path or direction to follow. And typically, you know, we're dealing with high-end clientele, so you're going to be dealing with an interior designer or something of that nature. So it's going to be more one-of-a-kind piece.
So Eric, let's just suppose that I want to get into your program. What would be my steps to start your classes?
First, you got to meet both instructors, myself and Mark Nelson, and tour the facility and see what we have to offer, because it might not be for you. You know, it's very direct. You know, it's very personable. It's very one-on-one, and just in general, the facility. Our facility is well equipped with all machines, and then we have a bench side also, and everyone gets their own bench. So that would
do
be
I have to pass tests or anything?
as of right now, we have open enrollment, but we strongly encourage you to actually come and visit the shop, because you don't know what you're getting into. You know, a lot of people say, well, I'm a master craftsman, master woodworker, but that term can be very loosely interpreted.
You know, I will say, Pat, I was up in the shop, it's been a couple weeks ago. I actually brought my nephew down. He's actually interested in coming and joining the program. And it was very interesting. I called and I said, hey, Eric, I've got someone I want you to meet. Can you take a few minutes to show him around the shop? I think we were there about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
He absolutely loved the tour. He loved the facilities. He didn't know what to expect, but he was really excited when he left. So, you know, I think that's, again, one of those best kept secrets we have. If you want to tour one of our program facilities here on campus, simply contact the person in charge of that facility, and they'll be happy to show you around, tell you about the programs, and tell you how to get into the program. Without any further ado, let's take a look at some of the pictures that that you have brought with you.
I'd like to see
and
some
we'll
of
go
those.
through them one at a time. We've got some pieces that we're going to talk about that students have made, and then we're going to see some of the job sites that you've taken students to other locations and help with projects. So let's take a look at some of those pictures now.
So this is actually a Bombay chest of drawers. So a lot of curved work. And
Can we go back to that one just a minute? Are we flipping through? Yeah, there. What I noticed most, yes, you're right, the curve, but I love basically it's the artwork. Look at the different grooves and the grain in that wood.
Yeah, how they were able to put the
yeah, that's
wood-
one. Actually, all those drawer fronts are out of one solid board.
Huh.
So that's
Wow.
that's mahogany, and so that board was roughly almost 30 inches wide, and so lumber selection, and then it terminates into a ball and claw foot also. Not many of those were made, just because of the simple fact that it's very very difficult.
And let me re-emphasize, that was all one board. You
Right.
didn't just order specialized feet to put on that. That
Right.
was
Yeah, that's
handmade,
all.
hand carved.
That is handmade art. You know, hardwood, rough sawn lumber. In that case, mahogany. But yeah, there's everything there except for the hardware is, you know, that student made.
That's an amazing piece.
This is Eddie Austin's secretary. This was actually in Fine Woodworking magazine, and Eddie has his own business now in West Virginia. He's in the Tamarack, and he actually started up a line of furniture called the Rio series.
The Rio series.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all those drawer fronts are, everything's veneered and
Another one of
burl.
those secrets that we've been holding on to.
Yeah.
We actually have a series named after us.
Yeah. This is a clock that was actually Jason Davis. He went to Vegas. He actually won first place for this tall case clock. Hopefully we get to go this year.
So when you go to Las Vegas, what is it? What do you do there?
It's student competition for woodworking. Schools all across the U.S.
Really? So
And-
how many different schools are there that?
Any school that has a
So like 20, 30? 40?
probably more than that.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, there's a.
And a student won the first prize.
Mm-hmm. Actually, we had two. We had two students win.
Two students.
So we've been there twice and won first place twice. The first
What
one.
an honor.
Yeah, the first one he won the whole show.
Now,
So-
do we see his work
Yeah,
here?
yeah, we'll see.
Okay,
See his work.
fantastic. Let's
Yeah.
go back to the pictures.
Yeah. This is Corey Rader. He's actually doing yacht interior work now. This is a corner cabinet. This is actually out of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So he reproduced that.
Now, where is he doing yacht work at?
It's in Kansas.
He is in Kansas building
Yeah.
interiors for yachts.
Yes. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yep. So they build it in Kansas and ship it to Miami, and out they go.
Wow.
That's Corey also. That's his desk. He did his second year.
So all students are required to do a large piece of furniture? Or?
We prefer to do get into case work. There's all different types of course furniture, but start off kind of post and rail and then get into case. This is Chris Hedges. He actually was in Tennessee. He just now moved back. He has his own business in Athens. This is his highboy that he built. I don't know about that T-shirt, but there's Eddie again with his desk.
That's a beautiful desk. I love the wood grains and
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
the pattern in that is beautiful.
yeah, yeah. Here's a little community project we built for Holzer Hospital. And they're gonna add all glass shelves in there, and they're gonna display their awards in that. So it has a light in it. This is just a foot detail of a bed Josh Leedy made. So ball and claw, then has a cantha sleeve carving on the leg.
And again, that started out as a solid piece of lumber that was carved.
Right. Correct.
So I would imagine you do have to have some artistic background to be able to create that.
Not necessarily. You don't have to because we try to. Not everyone is going to have this great perception of our abilities. So I mean, we're starting off with the basics, and whether you can pick up those basics or not, I guess that would be up to you. But you don't have to have this great artistic ability or anything, because I mean we're just teaching the fundamentals, and then if you want to go above and beyond that, we strongly encourage and will help and guide you through the whole process.
And I know that you have drafting classes and you have other kinds of art classes, such as ceramics.
No, we do all of our drafting in-house.
In-house.
Yep. So students actually draw it up full size pattern, and then they can make their patterns from that. And
I see.
Yep. So we actually do that in class as far as drawing.
And so the different things that you do draw and come to life.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's we draw it out full size, so you can actually get a feel of the proportions of it and things like that. Yeah.
Huh. And what happens if someone wanted to do it just as a hobby? You know, my father was a fine woodworking hobbyist. You know, he made his different parts when he was still living, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. Is this program? Can this program be for hobbyists?
Absolutely, and you're just going to become a better hobbyist. You're just going to, and it might turn into something else. But it's if you're passionate about it, it's by all means, it'd be for you. You're just going to pick up more skills.
You know, Pat, I've told Eric that when I finish my doctorate work,
yes,
I am going to be his student. I absolutely will go through this program.
So hopefully before then we have a screening process.
Yeah. And so ends our show today.
Yeah, I looked at that, but then he saw me looking at the machines and he said, "You stay away from that one."
Yeah, but you know, they do have a machine that is specially made for you, Pat.
And what is that?
There is a saw that they have up there that is a safety saw that you cannot cut your finger on.
I heard about that.
Do you want to tell us how this piece of art works?
Yeah. It's just it's called a saw stop. You can go on YouTube and check out. They actually do the hot dog test, and they run a hot dog across it, and the blade basically senses, works off of conductivity, and there's a brake that goes into the blade and stops it, and the blade goes below the table. So it is a great piece of technology to have.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. But I mean, no one should be setting that off. It should be something.
That should be your last stop.
But accidents do happen on occasion. That's why some people.
Right. Yep. Yep. And then that's why we equipped ourselves with it, because you know I would hate to have someone lose any members and they're not even out in the workforce yet.
Right. Yeah, that is
at
true.
Rio, we do care about our students, and we want to see them succeed, and we prefer that they start their career with all their fingers.
All their fingers, yes.
Yes.
So let's get back to some of the pictures and talk a little bit more about what we're doing in the program.
Yeah, that last one was a desk from Chris Hedges. Yeah, this is the desk that Chris won first place in Vegas. So we beat out schools like Georgia Tech, BYU, Purdue, Appalachian State, some really big.
How about Michigan?
I'm sure Michigan. Sure. And you know, this.
How long does something like that take?
That desk takes a full 9 months.
9 months. Wow.
This is some work we did over the summer as students did a co-op with me. And this house was in Georgetown. This is actually, we did a whole house, over 10,000 square foot house.
Okay, so here we're actually talking about the room itself. We're not talking about that beautiful billiard table.
Right, just the room. So, you know, there's two sides of woodworking. There's architectural and then there's specific pieces of furniture. But yeah, this, we did the whole house. So here's just some pictures of,
you know the difference between a pool table and a billiards table. About $10,000.
Yeah, yeah. Here's another house. This is a carriage house down the street from the last one, and
I thought this
all
was
mahogany.
Pat's River House.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. It sort of reminds me of that.
So this was just
that is
all mahogany, and this is just their guest house. Here's back to that other one in Georgetown.
See, I can show that to my wife, and perhaps on her time, you know, since she's retired, she could do something like that.
Yeah. We did over 3 football fields worth of paneling. So not all paint grade, but some. We did a library, a billiards room, each out of different species of wood.
The optical illusion that it gives is really neat. Now, in the back on the wall, is that really steps, or is that just
yep,
a?
Yep.
That
Steps
is
going
nice.
upstairs, and then other. I mean, this has an elevator in it. Gosh, I don't know how many manels we did, but we did a bunch of manels. We did over 77 doors in this house.
77.
Yeah. The first floor, the doors were all walnut and 8'3".
Now, did you build those on site?
We built them here, and then students were there in DC and actually installed.
So Eric, I've got to find out from you, what is the difference between a carpenter and woodworker?
Carpenter is more, you can be a framer. You're just framing up, and the tolerances are a little bit looser, I guess.
When I say close enough, that
Yeah.
would be a carpenter's mentality.
Right, yeah.
And there is no close enough in fine woodworking?
Correct, yeah,
Huh.
yeah. But we show our students little tricks of the trade, and actually once we get a structure, a box, we actually don't even measure from there, because it is what it is as far as the box. That is the measurement. So we have other tricks that we use to have really nice tolerances. So.
See, one of the things that I was taught is measure twice and cut once, but it makes you almost feel like you need to just get in there and cut.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is confidence, self-confidence, and once we break that barrier, we're good to go.
Huh, I understand. And so, do you have to have a lot of background in woodworking to enter your program?
Sometimes I prefer not to have any.
Oh, okay. Why is
believe it
that?
or not. Just because you don't have to break them with bad habits. Someone else has shown them something that was actually not necessarily correct, and sometimes they're fine. They just have to have a passion for it. So whether they do have experience or not, doesn't really matter, because we start them right off from the basics.
That's rather. You probably have to have patience too. I would
Yeah, a little bit
imagine
of patience.
because otherwise it turns into an ashtray.
Yes, or a burn pile.
Any idea how many hours went into that piece of art that won first place at Las Vegas?
Oof.
I mean, that was a gorgeous.
Yes, it was.
The desk, I'm not exactly sure. So there have been 32 weeks.
And then how long?
They
each
probably
week?
4 days a week on that. Not full days, because there's still class, and,
Right.
and really they only have to come in to classes 2 days a week, but we allow them to come in the other 2. So more specifically, he probably had 300 maybe, but that's that's your first piece. You're learning off of that. He actually ended up selling it for $18,000.
Wow.
So
Wow.
he still made money.
Yeah,
Off of it.
a few shekels.
Yeah.
You know, Jason, I learned something. I learned a couple things this weekend. At our river house, we have a black walnut tree, and the last couple of weeks, all of the black walnuts have been falling down. And my wife said, "Now be very, very careful. That will stain your fingers. You know, it's encompassed with a big, cushy." And my hands got all stained when I was peeling that. So I learned a couple things.
Your wife is always right.
Yes, yeah.
And second, you're never too old to learn.
That's right. The third thing that I learned is that is what they used to stain wood in the earlier years.
Yep.
I
Walnut
didn't know
husk.
that.
Yep. They used to actually use chicken blood and milk.
Chicken blood and milk.
Yep.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. Milk has a casein in it, and so it's actually what they make milk paint. It's the casein is more of the binder, and then they use earth pigments. But yeah, there's a lot of old methods that pretty neat.
Eric, we've got about 5 minutes left, and there's something else I want to get into. You know, I mentioned that I want to be one of your students one of these days. You know, but I'm not your traditional student. I'm the one who wants to do it as a hobby. I love playing with wood. You know, but for those individuals who are coming out of high school, they're looking for a career, and they love the idea of being able to make some of this furniture. What kind of living can they make? Where can they be employed? What kind of money can they expect? You know, paint a little forecast here in the next few minutes about what their future looks like with a degree from Rio Grande in fine woodworking.
Yeah, right now I actually wish I was a student because there's so many opportunities that they have right now. It's ridiculous. I'm getting emails, at least one per week, from all over the U.S. looking for skilled workers.
Wow.
There's some really great opportunities, and it is very individual. It's kind of like sports, as far as
Truly talented.
Right. You know, you can expect to make $15 to $25 an hour, but then some of the companies have profit sharing. So at the end of the year, as far as profits from the business, so there's a lot of other ways that they can make even more money with whatever company that they're with. But most of them are high-end custom jobs. That's our focus, and those jobs are popping up left and right now.
So what are some of our success stories out there? What students do we have working in certain industries?
Well, we have yacht interiors, jet interiors.
Jet interiors. We have someone putting interiors in jets.
Yeah, Justin, who made that Bombay, he's up in Cleveland doing jet interiors. I mean, it's such a broad spectrum. I mean, a lot of them even have their own businesses all over the U.S. So, you know, what really defines a success, I mean, that can be, you know, whether that's what you wanted to do, start up your own business, so you could define that as a success. But
what's the way to get in touch with you to ask for more? How should they contact you?
Just call me, 740-245-7441, or just email me at matson@rio.edu.
Matson, M-A-T-S-O-N, @rio.edu.
Yep.
And that's 740-245
7441.
7441.
Yep.
You know, Jason, what we got to do? Why don't we, in the next few weeks, take the video crew and do some video shops, and then maybe in January have Eric come back?
I think we ought to do it a couple times. I think we ought to have him back in January, where we see some of the pre-work, and then maybe the end of spring semester when we have some of those pieces that are putting the finishing touches on.
Yeah,
that are going to go to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And by the way, I do understand you need an extra chaperone on that Las Vegas trip. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So you'll have to find someone to fill in for me, Pat. I'll be in Vegas.
Well, I will be in Vegas too.
Oh no, someone's got to stay here with Mike and take care of the show.
Well, Eric, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
We're going to come over and really look at all the different products.
Well, Pat, speaking of the show, tell us who we have coming on the show here in the next couple of weeks.
We have some as good individuals like we have with Eric. We have Christy Walsh, who's going to talk about the cooperatives and the farmers markets next week. Jessamy Bright, this is her return visit. She has Patronus training, self-defense for women. We have Sean and Worley Phoenix, who are with the Portsmouth Pizzeria, and they promised me that we would get something to eat. So I think that'll be good. Sheridan Clegg. We have Brad Bergerford.
Oh, wait a minute. We have Sheridan coming back on?
Oh, yes.
Do you know what that means? I forgot to set the trash out today.
Sheridan is just one of those. I really like Sheridan and Dave. They're fun to be around. Then we have Brad Bergerford, and Brad is our horticulturalist. He's going to be talking about community gardens. You ought to see what one of the community gardens that they have in Portsmouth.
Now, didn't Brad just recently take a trip to Africa?
Yes, and he went through the different shots and things of that nature. So
okay, so he's going to be good before he comes on the show.
Oh, I hope so.
But I'm sure he has a lot of stories to tell us.
Brad always has a lot of stories to tell. Then of course we have Tammy Brabham. She owns Red's Rolling Garage. Robbie Pugh with the Cinemax and Valerie Thomas. So we have a great show.
Fantastic.